So my 1995 S600 had a bit of a firm ride at the rear, and I'm just working through a few things on the car having purchased it. Now the car appears to have the adaptive damping system, the first generation, the ADS, on the 600, which is a little different to the SLS, and my understanding also the ADS too. So pushing on the rear, look, I'm not overly familiar with the car, but it's a little bit firm. So look, just checking the reservoir at the front on the left engine bay. There was fluid in the car, and that's obviously a place to start, but then I checked the records and I noted the accumulators hadn't been done in what looked like 9 years or so. And so these things in 2026 cost me about 250 Australian dollars, or probably, I don't know, 180 US for each accumulator here. So we've put the car up, and on this car with the ADS there's only 2 accumulators at the rear compared to my 6.9, which has 5. There's one on the right side just next to the diff, and then there's actually another one on the left side underneath the exhaust at the back. They're 2 really difficult places to get hold of. The equivalent 124s, which use the same accumulators, which are accessible through the boot spare wheel and then undone from the bottom. These are completely undone and accessible from the bottom only. So I don't envy anyone trying to do this without a hoist. So here's my 2 Corteco replacements that I've purchased. As I said, probably 180 US dollars. You can see here there's a number of brands that historically have made accumulators from Corteco, Swag, Febi, and Lemforder. But these are the Corteco brand, and so these are readily on the shelf at the local European car parts importer. So, as is often reported, just soaking all the excess. This is the one under the exhaust, and getting both of these off is actually not your major drama. For the left side or the exhaust side, you've got to drop the exhaust a bit. Now, my hoist doesn't allow me to drop this too far. I need to have these cross members under the car, so I've dropped it probably about 4 or 5 inches. So you can see 2 13s at the back. It doesn't give me quite access, and then there's another 2 13s under the, I don't know if that's the resonator or the correct nomenclature, but you can see my cross member for the jack doesn't allow it to go any further, which still gave me enough room. So taking off a second set of 13s here lets this drop down to give me access. So I would also take off the left spare wheel if you have the car on a hoist. You'll be surprised how many times you can hit your head. So here we are, and the first line I undid with a flare nut wrench 11 is the actual hard line with the brake line, and that'll start to let the foam out. I understand there's a bleeder valve elsewhere, but that's all right. I'll make a bit of a mess. Now I've also undone the 17 line as well, and that's let more fluid out, and I probably drained out about 500 mils to a litre. So the 11's taken off, and then I start to take off the 10mm securing nuts with just a ratchet spanner. They're accessible. And then the 17 is about to come off, and once you've cracked that line, you could actually do that with hand tightness. These things shouldn't be torqued in to start with, just do them by hand. And so here we go, the 17 is now off, and now you just need to get the 10s off. So as I said, maybe take off your left rear wheel, because you are going to hit your head on it, and out comes the old accumulator. So you can see I'm nicely covered there, and these things dissolve through my gloves. So here's the Febi accumulator. It looks like the 16th week of 2016. So that's, 10 years old. So here are the new ones with my small assistant, and we're going to pop these on. I've just engraved 2026. You can see it from the bottom somewhat, if I'm not in possession of the car in another 10 years. So there's the 11 and the 17 lines and the mounts, and next to that is the electronic damper, I believe. So lining up the 11mm line, you don't have to worry about that little hole on the mount. That's going to go where it wants to go. Let's feed this thing in, which is doable. And look, this side, I reckon probably took me a couple of hours. It'd be quicker doing it next time round. I've got the 11 in. Getting those 11 lines is pretty hard because you have to push down on the threaded portion whilst it's in line, and that's not easy when it's overhead and it's under a bit of tension. So having secured the 17, all the 10s get cranked down. And here we go, this thing's starting to look like it did before. And it's time to draw up the exhaust, because the left side is now complete. I did have a little bit of leakage from the 11 hard line here, which I did have to crank down a little bit more. I couldn't find any torque values on these ones. So now it's time just to do the 213s at the back of the exhaust, and that will essentially conclude the left side of the vehicle. Now we're going to have a look at the accumulators later. I really don't see any reason to take them off, test them and put them back on. Just buy new ones. There's a few people that suggest you can test them. I think that's a complete waste of time with all the labour you're going to spend. So there's the fluid out of one side on the left. It's quite dark, which you'll see compared to the clear oil later. So let's have a look now. It's the right-sided one, which is located opposite the differential. It's a bit of a nuisance. So you can see the 17mm line is accessed from the top above the half shaft. Now actually, once you've cracked that line, that thing was actually pretty loose. So in reality, you crank it, you turn it over, you do another like quarter turn. This is very small turns at this point, and then pretty quickly it's actually hand tightening. And basically I got a blue rag and popped it up on each side and did it with my hand. I was able to get that off. Now the first two 10mm locating or locking securing lugs are accessible with a ratchet socket or a ratchet spanner. You can see the front one and the rear right one there. Whereas the rear left one on the side of the differential, you've actually got to drop it down by undoing the 13s. So I was able to get those two 10s off. Now the 11mm line, I was able to break that with a spanner and then hand thread that off. So I don't pity someone if you can't get these things handed off. So now it was time to take off these 13mm securing lugs because I couldn't get the rear mounting 10 or securing 10. So once you take these off, the thing will drop down, and then we're basically going to take off that final locating 10. You can see the electronic damper, I believe it is at the top underneath the mount. So at this point then we just use a bent ratchet spanner and we're able to get off the final locating or securing lug. So here's another Febi made at the same time, 16th week of the 2016 I believe. So 10 years old are these ones. So here's another Corteco new accumulator, which I couldn't seem to identify the date on. Look, I've just written the date of installation. I just got a pen out and engrave that softly into it, just so you can see that from the bottom. Now this one actually took quite a bit more time to get on, and initially I put everything on except for the 11. That burnt me. The 11's got to go on first, guys. Don't even bother putting on the mounts or anything. Just get that on. And it's really hard getting it on by hand because you push it on there and then you have to push the threaded portion down because that metal line's under a little bit of tension. So once that's secured, you probably want to get the securing 10mm on the back left side of that mount at this time while it's down. And then you can also probably get the other securing 10s on, although they could be done later. So you can see that thing's going on hand tight at this point. I don't think I've done anything too stupid or aggressively, because the last thing you want is to strip that out. So once that's on, then we can get the securing 10s before the 17mm line, which again largely goes in by hand. You can get 90% of it down by hand, which is really good. So there we go, and at this point my neck was getting bloody sore, so I put the car down that I could just lie on my back to do the final bit. That 11 had defeated me. So the 17 gets tightened down, Subsequently found I had a bit of a puddle and the 17 wasn't down tight enough, so to tighten the 17 I couldn't actually get it down enough. So what we did was he undid the mount, the 13s again, and we bent the front end of that mount, you can see closest to the half shaft, forward so we could swing the 17 more, if that makes sense. So here we are, we're down now, and it's time to fill up the oil. And so off comes the reservoir in the front left engine bay, pretty straightforward. And you don't want to be putting stupid, incorrect oil in here. And so it's ZHM hydraulic oil. We've got Febi. I'd previously used Vaico. Mercedes provided this. I don't know. We haven't bought their original stuff in a while. You can see the filters are also replaceable. And this is a little instrument I bought at a car show in Germany with a, I think it's 1 litre reservoir. So I'm going to suction out all the fluid in the car's reservoir and then top it up with that Febi ZHM hydraulic fluid. So you can see I've got basically about 1 litre out of there. And then what we're going to do is take out the residual, so another 300 or 400 mils, I think. Now, there are probably more suitable ways to completely empty this. I don't think most people probably bother. The little filter has a magnet at the base, which is why the sludge gets picked up there. I don't think these are expensive and they're still available, and I'll get the part number. So now it's to put the ZHM oil in, and you can see it's very thin and it's also very clear compared to that dark fluid that was in there before. So just topping it up. And after that the reservoir is going in, and we might take it for a bit of a drive. So you can see how the oil level is in there originally, so I wouldn't get too upset by that, because look, there looked like there's a bit of a clear oil leak from the back, and at this point I was pretty heartbroken. See it dripping off the accumulator, and lucky for me it was actually from the 17, not the 11. The 11 would have made it really tough. So to actually crank that 17 down, we actually bent, you can see the mount forward to tighten it up. Now people suggesting accumulators, you should test them, put a small flexible piece of plastic in there, and it should actually depress down, which mine didn't, which suggests it failed. I wouldn't bother putting old ones back in there. Now we're just checking the reservoir after taking the car for a drive and letting it sit overnight, and you can see we haven't met the minimum, and indeed when I took the cap off, you'll see in a second, there was very little fluid in there. It was indeed time to top it up even further. So there we are, it's time to top up the reservoir. A bit more fluid, nice and clear. That was about $30 a litre in Australia. I don't know, 23 bucks US maybe. I think another one in the US you often use this Pentosin brand. We don't have here in the colony. So time to put back the reservoir line, and then basically I finished up the car. It did drive a fair bit nicer, but admittedly I haven't driven it too much yet, so we'll find out a bit more when I get it moving and hope it doesn't leak. So I hope this has been of use to you.